Southern Nazarene returns home to Bethany after its two best performances on offense this year, and they're looking for their first win of the season against the Arkansas-Monticello Boll Weevils right here, right now, on SNUathletics.com.
Finger ball, flips it over to Starkey for the slam. He's going to step up in the pocket, looking to throw. He's got a man! Alvin Coleman Jr. Jeff Harris gets some contact there, going deep left. It's going. And that ball is history. Shot clock down to 10. They're looking for the alley-oop. And Waylon Newton.
There with the shot. And what a goal.
Swung on, hit hard. Sam Smith going back. It's out of here.
Don't pull. Get him.
Berlin set Bowie. Gets down for the kill, Courtney Bowie. Abby Boyd going to take a three. Yes, sir.
Robinson finds Disney. Disney inside the box at the top.
Goal! It's over! The Crimson Storm have won!
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to SNUathletics.com. I'm John Hale. Alongside me is Connor McKenzie, your two bearded hosts for today. And our wonderful afternoon here in Bethany, Oklahoma, for some fun football on this great football Saturday between the Arkansas-Monticello Boll Weevils and the SNU Crimson Storm. Connor, how you doing today?
Oh, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling pretty pink today. It's a pink out theme here for our Crimson Storm here. It's October. It's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I'm ready for some good football between these two teams here.
Yeah, we're pinked out, and SNU is all crimson now. We're ready to go. So Southern Nazarene coming off their last two losses. They're 0-5 on the year, but they came off against Southeastern and Southern Ark, and they put up some pretty good offensive numbers. Coming off their two best offensive performances of the season, the Crimson Storm had a season-high 313 total yards and a 45-14 loss against Southeastern, and had season-high 206 yards rushing, 107 yards passing. SNU then had only one less in rushing than passing, with 106 rushing, 162 passing for 262 yards against Southern Arkansas. And it looked for a moment that SNU might come out and win that game. They might pull off the upset, only being down by 10 at a current moment in the game with about 6 minutes left in the game. So Jacob Spady led the way in last week's game against the Mule Riders. 219 all-purpose yards against the Savage Storm and 204 all-purpose against the Mule Riders. He ran for 112 and 2 touchdowns and threw for 107 2 weeks ago. And last week he threw for a season-high 162 yards and a touchdown, and he ran for 42. It's the first time since October 3rd and 10th of last year that SNU has had back-to-back games of at least 100 yards passing and rushing in the same game. The game against Southeastern was the highest offensive output since the final game of the year last year. So, I mean, SNU definitely showing some improvement, Connor.
I think you're right, John. That offensive performance and firepower is really showing out for SNU and Jacob Spady's arm and his legs in this offense. I'm really excited to see how they perform the rest of the season against Monicello, who's looking to win back-to-back games for the first time this year and since the 2013 season when they went 5-6, as the Boll Weevils are coming off a 31-27 victory against Oklahoma Baptist, one of the tougher teams in the conference. Both of them sitting around 1-4 and 2-3 in the conference, trying to make their way into the top-heavy leaders in this conference in the GAC. Monticello held a 7-0 lead early, but didn't get it back until 9:41 left in the ballgame until Imani Riley was able to power through. I think SNU's going to have some real trouble today with Imani Riley. We'll talk about that more as this pregame goes on. And OBU retook the lead with just 2 minutes later, but then the Weevils got the last gasp with 3:34 left to pick up the win against Oklahoma Baptist. And Riley led the way for Monticello, having 153 yards rushing with a touchdown on the ground on 30 carries. The Weevils ran for a team-high 141. As Cole Sears threw for 320 yards and a touchdown, was 21 of 41 passing. So a lot of offensive firepower on the flip side with Arkansas-Monticello coming into SNU today.
Now, Monticello's first game of the year is the first game of the season for them, and the North and the Northwestern Oklahoma State, believe it was the Rangers. They had a offensive exhibition, 59-56 the total, with Monticello coming on the short end of the stick on that one. But in this series against SNU, Monticello leads 3-0, but it's been the closest series that SNU has had against any one of its GAC opponents. they have had the only blowout loss coming last year with Monicello winning 51-10 in Monicello last year. But before that, they had a 44-37 win, or 44-37 loss against the Bull Weevils in Bethany 2 years ago, and 3 years before that, only losing by, I believe, 4 points. So SNU, Monticello. It's kind of one of those rivalries, one of those games that it could go one way, it could go the other. It just depends on who comes out to play.
I think you're right, John. I think we're going to see a lot of points here scored this afternoon. Both teams not doing so well on defense in rushing or passing defense, so we look to see a lot of points potentially between both teams here.
Around the GAC, the Crimson Storm are ranked 4th in the Great American Conference in pass defense, which is going to be interesting because ranked number 4 in pass offense are the Bull Weevils.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be interesting. That'll be your key matchup to see today in this ball game. The defense are just giving up 184 yards per game through the air, and SNU is also tied for 3rd in the GAC in sacks against. The Storm have only given up 6 sacks on the year with a loss of only 33 yards. 4 players ranked inside the top 20 in tackles per game is Noah Wells, 15th at 7.5, while Damian Willis and Brandon Jackson are tied for 17th with 7 even, and Tristan Slinker is 19th with 6.8. So, I mean, defense shows signs of greatness. They just haven't been consistent.
I think you're right, John. Just a matter of trying to get used to the chemistry around the team. It is a fairly young team on both sides of the ball, so just a matter of taking it game by game and season by season as these players develop here under the new coach, Andy Lambert. Look forward to see how they perform throughout the rest of this year.
Well, we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we'll be going over the other games going on in the GAC, as well as hear from our sideline reporter, Cheyenne Reynolds, when we come back to SNUathletics.com. Welcome back to SNUathletics.com. Right now we're sending it down to our correspondent on the field, Cheyenne Reynolds. Cheyenne, how's it going down there?
It's going really great. It's honestly a really beautiful day. It's kind of hot, believe it or not. The wind's blowing, but it's gotten a lot warmer.
Well, that artificial turf certainly does soak up a little bit more heat. What's the team look like down there? How's SNU preparing for this football game?
SNU is doing really great. I mean, I got to watch them during their warm-ups, and they were doing a passing drill, and they're just having a lot of good energy, and they're making great catches. So I think it's going to be a really great game. We're all just anticipating them to get the win, and we're all rooting for them. So I think today's the day.
All righty, Cheyenne, what can you tell us about the offensive performance? Like, what do you look for out there today?
I'm just looking for them to go hard, like make those tough catches and just show that they can do it, because we all know they can do it, and we've all been believers of them. And I think, just seeing them just go out hard is going to be what's going to get them to get this win. And we've seen them improve from week to week. Last week against Southern Ark, and then, Southeastern, their performance is getting better. So I think it's just kind of coming out with a win and staying strong tonight.
Well, thank you, Cheyenne. We'll keep in touch with you throughout the game. Right now, we're going to go over some GAC scores for the rest of the area. Also starting right as we start is Arkansas Tech at Ouachita Baptist. Ouachita is coming in with a 7.5 advantage over the Wonder Boys. So what do you expect to go on in that game, Connor?
I'm going to go with Ouachita Baptist. They're a tough team to play at home. Arkansas Tech started off strong, but they've kind of faltered over a little bit the last couple weeks of the season. I'm going to go with Ouachita Baptist, but I expect Arkansas Tech to cover.
I'm going to go with Ouachita too, and I think that they will cover. I think it'll be like a small cover. Like they maybe win the game by 10 points with the spread being only 7.5. So I pick Ouachita to win and to cover, but not by a whole lot. They'll set up a great game for another team that we'll talk about here in just a few minutes. The other game going on right now, Southern Arkansas coming in as also 7.5 favorites over Oklahoma Baptist at 2 o'clock. That game's in Shawnee. So what do you expect between the Bison and the Mule Riders?
Oh man, that's a tough call between the Mule Riders and the Bison of OBU, but I'm going to go with the home team again here. Oklahoma Baptist is a very tough team to play at home. They're 1-1 on the season at home, but just around that time of the season, it's either now or never to get those wins, and they got to protect their home field. I'm going with the Bison.
So you're going to go with the upset. I'm actually going to pick the favorite. I'm going to pick Southern Arkansas, and I will pick them to cover. I think that their offense is just a little bit too much for OBU to handle, and OBU, I think their defense is lacking, so I'm going to go ahead and pick the Mule Riders. Mm-hmm. And now we're going to talk about we'll come back to this because it's our game of the week, so we're going to jump ahead. Northwestern Oklahoma State versus Southeastern Oklahoma State. Southeastern coming in as 15.5 point favorites, so upset there?
I'm going to go with the Rangers coming in on the road to take this victory here. I think Southeastern will cover, but I'm picking Northwestern and Oklahoma State to win.
So Connor McKenzie likes the upsets today. I'm just going to be probably the buzzkill in it. I will pick the Savage Storm. I'm going to pick the Storm because I think that their offense is pretty solid, and we kind of have a rule in the betting world that if it's 10 points or more, it's a blowout. So I'm going to go ahead and say that Southeastern wins, but I won't pick them to cover. I'm gonna pick under on that. So, and we'll come to SWOSU taking on East Central and Ada today, with SWOSU being in a 2.5 point favorite, looking for that first win of the season, or not the first win of the season, but trying to find that footing like SNU and Monicello are.
Oh man, I gotta go with the home team on this one. East Central is a very tough team to play against. They can be a little erratic and sloppy, but their quarterback just plays so well. He's a big guy. He's able to move piles, and they got some stud wide receivers they can find the ball to. I'm picking East Central to take this one.
All right, now this is where I will actually agree with you. East Central, I think, is going to beat SWOSU. I think that East Central, they're a little bit more used to. They've got that one win, even though it was against SNU right here in Bethany. And SWOSU having a little bit of trouble finding their identity. I think the Tigers will win, and obviously SWOSU is 2.5 point favorite, so obviously they will cover that and they will win. 58.5 spread. I'm actually going to go under on that. I'm going to go under and pick that. It's not going to be that high scoring.
I don't think so either. I think they'll go under 58.5 as well, because both teams just don't. I haven't seen have that capability to go that high scoring, though we could be wrong. We found a way to agree on something today. Who knows what could happen?
And our last game to pick is our game of the week, our GAC game of the week. Number 16 in the country ranked Harding going into Arkadelphia to take on number 5 in the country, Henderson State. Wow, this in my opinion is de facto GAC championship game.
It is. This is going to be a very, very big matchup between these teams. Both teams fighting for top spots in all of NCAA Division II right now. I'm going to go with the road team, Harding, to get the upset over Henderson State. It's just they got a very big team, a great offensive line, a great stable of running backs, and confidence in their defense to get some stops and some crucial plays. A close game between Henderson State and Harding today.
It's a 6.5 point spread against Harding for Henderson State, 6.5 point favorites. It's going to be close. I think that it's going to be under 6.5 points, but I'm going to go with the home team, the higher ranked team, Henderson State Reddies. They beat they beat Harding. Henderson State beats Harding, but it's going to be close. I think it's a 4-point game, and I'm going to pick them because I believe that Henderson is a little bit more three-dimensional than Harding, who is really good at running the football, but Henderson is better at running and passing. So I'll pick the three-dimensional team over Harding. It's close. Harding wins.
Should be a pretty good game.
Henderson
a great
wins.
day of games here in the GAC as everybody in action around 1 and 2. Our game of the week coming up in about an hour. Hour from now, we look forward to seeing that. But more importantly, we got SNU football here against Arkansas-Monticello. Should be a good one.
It's going to be a great one here. SNU only coming in as 12.5 point underdogs, but that's why you play the game. That's why you play the game. And we will have that game here in just a couple of minutes when we come back to SNUathletics.com. Welcome back to SNUathletics.com. Right now, we're going to check out some more sports going on here in Bethany, Oklahoma with our SNU Sports Recap. Take it away, Connor McKenzie.
Thank you, John. And new news, volleyball lost in 3 sets in a non-conference game against Midwestern State at home on Tuesday. And they've got a quick update for you against Henderson State. They lost 3 sets to 1 against Henderson State in Arkadelphia. So just in Arkansas, just a tough loss for stretch for SNU as they were able to go 3 consecutive games going 3-0 sweeps and just being able to kind of cruise past some teams in the conference and separate themselves, but they kind of lost their step here this past week. Women's soccer lost 2-0 against SWASU on Thursday, and they play Northwest Oklahoma State today at Saturday at 1 o'clock, so we'll keep you updated as that game progresses. Men's soccer lost 5-1 to Northeastern State on Thursday, and they play Southwest Baptist in Missouri on Saturday today at 3 o'clock. Women's golf finished 10th at the UCO RCB Bank Classic this week. Next competition is the GAC Preview next Monday and Tuesday, final round of the fall tournaments. Men's golf finished 4th at the MSSU Men's Fall Invitational at Monkey Island on September 27th. Their final competition for the fall is at Midwestern State Invitational in Wichita Falls, Texas on October 17th and 18th, so we'll keep you posted as those sports go on. As men's golf doing some really good things. winning the GAC preview a couple weeks ago, and now coming in and finishing 4th at the MSSU Fall Invitational. So some good signs for SNU sports, and volleyball doing a great job this season as well, separating themselves early. Just had a bit of a step back this past couple weeks, but I have confidence that they'll be able to get behind Coach Ingram and organize some crucial wins as this conference heats up, and soccer doing everything they can, leaving it all on the field and just playing hard every game. We expect to see that every time they step on the field. So good news for SNU sports this season. And
we're into October now, so we can start thinking about basketball here in just a few weeks. So and as you know, I mean, SNU, Bethany, Oklahoma, and the Sawyer Center for basketball, it gets pretty nuts.
It gets crazy. We expect a lot of big things. There's some good preseason exhibition games for SNU coming up this year. Going to Wichita State for some Division I battles should be very interesting. I know CJ White and LB Willis are very excited to go check out and play against some really good competition and step their game up and see where they stack against some teams in a different division and totally different atmosphere. Wichita, Kansas. So we'll look to see how they perform this season. It should be a very good season for SNU basketball.
Well, we look forward to that, but right now we're going to stick here at SNU football field and talk about this upcoming game, which is only 7.5 minutes away from kickoff between the Boll Weevils and the Crimson Storm. And in my opinion, Connor, this is going to be a shootout, as both teams not really shining so much on defense, but they have been finding their strides on offense.
Absolutely. SNU, I'm really looking forward to see how Jacob Spade is able to use his receivers and his legs this week and trying to find some good targets, because as you said, Arkansas-Monticello's defense has kind of been lacking this season in recent history. So look to try to find Trevor Smith or Derek Gillis or Reese Carlson on some open routes and just see how they perform this evening.
Well, as I said earlier, my matchup of the game is the 4th-ranked GAC passing offense in Monicello going up against the 4th-ranked passing defense in the Crimson Storm. Both teams, I mean, they're right there. I mean, 4 versus 4 in the GAC, something's got to give today. Mm-hmm. Something's got to give. And Monicello is also ranked number 35 in the nation in Division II. So I think that SNU is going to do everything in their power to make Monicello run the football. Mm-hmm. And I mean, and their SNU, I mean, the SNU run defense hasn't been showing a whole lot, but I think today's the day that they show exactly what they're capable of. Also, one more thing to keep an eye on: time of possession. Time of the possession is going to be huge today, as SNU ranking at near the bottom of the conference and number 10 and 162nd in the country. That is with 26 minutes and 17 seconds average per game. That is the stark opposite of Monicello, who's ranking number 1 in the JC, number 5 in the country in time of possession. 35 minutes and 2 seconds average per game. That's half the football game. Half the football
wild.
Game, they're averaging the football. That's ridiculous if you're Monicello. So SNU's got to find a way to keep their defense on the field for very small periods of time and get that offense moving.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be very formidable for SNU to be able to keep the offense off the field for Arkansas-Monticello and see if they can muster some consecutive stops in a row and take away any momentum that Monticello may have here in Bethany.
Looking at one-on-one matchups, Connor, who exactly are you looking for between the two teams? One-on-one matchups.
One-on-one matchups. I'm gonna go with a 1-on-8 kind of 7 matchup with Terrence Olds against the front 7 of Arkansas-Monticello and see if he's able to bust through and open up some holes for the SNU rushing attack, and then possibly open up some passing routes for Jacob Spade to let loose a little bit.
Mine is also kind of let's say a 1-on-4 matchup. It's going to be Tolliver. It's going to be Jalen Tolliver, the 6'3", 210 junior wide receiver, number 21 for the Monicello Boll Weevils, going up against that SNU secondary. I mean, once again, we were talking about how their passing offense is pretty solid. I think that it's going to be, Derek Carmouche, Brandon Jackson. They're going to be tested today by Tolliver, and so it's going to be interesting to see how the SNU secondary plays against this stellar wide receiver.
Absolutely, I expect a fun battle between these two teams. I think Monty Riley's going to bring a lot of problems for the SNU defense if they're not able to kind of lock in and put some pressure and make some stops here Because inside the red zone, the Arkansas-Monticello Boll Weevils are very dangerous with Amani Riley. Because a lot of his touchdowns come within the red zone. So look to try to stop him as he's kind of a bruiser for the Boll Weevils rushing attack.
Well, I'm ready. I know you're ready. We're about under 4 minutes to play here in Bethany. When we come back, we're going to have kickoff for you here at SNUathletics.com. Welcome back to SNUathletics.com. We're getting ready to start out here in Bethany, Oklahoma between the Boll Weevils and the Crimson Storm. Didn't quite see exactly who won the toss-up between the Crimson Storm and the Boll Weevils. Looks like both teams starting to get that huddle together. We'll have a quick look at who's coming out.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun afternoon here, John, as you said. It's just a beautiful day. We got people that are lining up behind the goalposts just ready for a little kind of a lawn party here today for this pink out here for the Crimson Storm. It's a beautiful day out here in Bethany, just over 60 degrees. Wind's hardly blowing. The sun is shining. It's a good day for some football.
It's a great day for some football, Connor, and it looks like SNU won the toss and chose to defer to the second half. So SNU will kick off, courtesy of number 10, Carlos Anguiano. Beautiful day here, low 70s, just a fraction of a mile per hour wind. Couldn't ask for better conditions today as we kick off Boll Weevils versus Crimson Storm.
Jamal Chavis and Jordan Stargell for the Boll Weevils set back to receive for Arkansas-Monticello.
And here we go, off to the races. Carlos Anguiano kicks into the end zone. It's muffed in the end zone. And he's going to decide to take it out. He's taken down at the 15.
I'm not sure about that decision after catching it 4 yards deep in the end zone and dropping it and then trying to run out. I'm not sure that was a wise decision.
So the Crimson Storm will set up on defense, and now comes that clock-consuming Arkansas-Monticello offense.
And Cole Sears stepping in a quarterback. The man for the Boll Weevils set up in the shotgun with twins out left. See what they look to attack here at first play of the game.
It's going to be a handoff to the running back, and it goes for about 4 yards. It looks like that was number 35, Imani Riley, 5'9", 200-pound sophomore.
A good stop there, limited to about 3 yards on that carry. Zach Lloyd kind of coming off the inside edge, seeing the inside handoff, and able to keep momentum on the side of the Crimson Storm, not giving up much.
Zach Lloyd, the 6'2", 200-pound sophomore out of Bartlesville, Oklahoma, emerging as one of the defensive leaders, even though he's young. Sears in the shotgun with 2 left, 1 to his right, another handoff to him, Monty.
Back to it, I think we had a fumble.
He's driven back, fumbles the football, but quickly picks it up, and SNU in a very favorable 3rd down and about 5.
A good start for the Crimson Storm, able to give up very minimal here, and now 3rd down and about, I believe, 4 for the Bull Wheels. We got a timeout on the field. Officials conferring about something, we're not sure what. And the Crimson Storm faithful getting loud and proud here to represent their on the sidelines as well, as both sides really getting into the ball game early. 3rd down and short. And sent up here are the Bull Wheels trying to get something going here on 3rd down and 4.
So Sears will drop back, looking for somebody, trying to make something happen. Ooh. Slips up.
Whoops.
Trying to find something in the open field, try to tuck it and run, and he had a lane. Sears looking for a little bit more daylight, and he had it. He couldn't quite keep his footing on the artificial turf of SNU's football field.
Great start for the Crimson Storm, able to get a 3-and-out stop here and limiting the offense of the Bull Wheels early.
And now we talked about this very early on in the season, Connor. The energy that SNU needs to receive from its sideline as well as on the field is what is part of the reason part of the energy that drives them. Ooh. Almost got a piece of that, and somebody may have. That punt is shanked off to the right into Arkansas-Monticello's sideline, and SNU going to start out with some great field position. This couldn't have turned out better for the Crimson Storm.
Absolutely, John. First, a bobbled kick return in the end zone for the Bull Wheels, and now a shanked punt after the ball bounced off the ground coming to the punter and trying to find something before it nearly got blocked and sent out of bounds around the 31-yard line of the Bull Wheels. What more could you ask for to start off this game?
SNU basically gift wrapped a wonderful field position on the 31-yard line of Monicello and setting up with an offense that's just starting to find its identity. This could be huge for SNU as they're trying to draw first blood. We're going to take a break right now. We'll be right back to SNUathletics.com. Sorry. Welcome back to SNUathletics.com. SNU in great field position as Jacob Spady leads his troops out into the field with Terrence Olds in the backfield. It's going to be a pass right off the bat. Spady can't find anything. Finally finds somebody right there in the middle of the field. That was number 85 for the Crimson Storm.
Jacoby Hicks right over the middle, the 6'3 sophomore out of Tulsa, Oklahoma, with a nice grab up the middle and yards after catch for the first down.
And it almost took Spady to the ground as he was fighting with an Arkansas-Monticello player, fighting at his ankles. Finally got it off right there in the middle of the field to Jacoby Hicks. Big play for the Crimson Storm. And a read option play, this time for Spady, trying to find an opening. He's got an opening! Touchdown! Crimson Storm! Jacob Spady on the read option keeper.
What team are we watching today? SNU coming out, firing on defense, and just very aggressive on offense. Coach Lambert had a game plan, and the Crimson Storm are executing it here in this first quarter.
That was spectacularly played by Jacob Spady, trying to weasel his way through the linemen, and finally just finds an opening where no one's home, evades a tackler, and now Carlos Anguiano out for the first extra point of the game. It is up, and it is good, and the Crimson Storm draw first blood here in Bethany as they lead 7-0 on a 2-play, 31-yard drive, and they will bring the defense back out when we come back to SNUathletics.com. So the Boll Weevils will set up at the 35-yard line after a kick goes out of bounds. So some good field position for the Boll Weevils, as here's another keeper for the Boll Weevils. And Amani is going to run all the way to about the 41-yard line. 2nd down and 4 coming up for the Boll Weevils. That was Imani Riley.
Yeah, just an odd kick there from Anguiano off that kickoff after touchdown by Jacob Spady. Kind of setting up shop easy for the Boll Weevils here, but we got a Boll Weevil down on the field, if you guys can see.
So while he's being attended to, we'll step aside, or excuse me, we'll stay right here.
I couldn't really see what happened, but on the field, looks like they're tending to his right ankle or right knee. See if something maybe got stepped on or twisted. Not sure what exactly happened.
It looks like it's a lineman for the Boll Weevils. He gets up and looks like he's trying to walk off on his own power, and he will. Looks like it's actually...
That's Imani Riley.
That's Imani Riley, number 35.
I mean, he's big. He's big as a lineman, but he's definitely no lineman. He's one of the better running backs here for the Boll Weevils. Sad to see him go out so early in this game, a player of his caliber.
Well,
you never want to see a player hurt.
That really does hurt the Boll Weevils as they lose their probable best rusher. Bringing in looks like that's number 22, Coy McFarland.
Setting back to pass. That ball goes into the turf around the 48-yard line. 3rd down and short coming back up for the Boll Weevils.
Boll Weevils will set up. That's actually number 32, DeAntonio Brown, lining up in replacement of Riley.
Crimson Storm trying to bring some pressure up on the right side, and pass is just out of reach there. 4th down short coming up for the Boll Weevils.
SNU was bringing the heat on that one as they just couldn't quite get there. There was almost a deflection of the football, and Sears is rattled here early in this game against the Crimson Storm.
Yeah, Coach Lambert dialing up some pressure there, bringing the linebackers off the weak side, making the quarterback throw an uncomfortable pass across his body to the near sideline, just not able to connect.
So Jonathan Martin, number 1, will be back to return the punt as Monicello will try its best to actually get it down the field. And another low snap, almost deflected once again. This time it actually will get some good field position for the Boll Weevils as they will kick the ball out at SNU's own 20-yard line. And that's where Jacob Spady will try to set up shop and duplicate the success that they had last time. So when we come back, SNU will try to extend their lead over Arkansas-Monticello when we come back to SNUathletics.com.
We're back.
Welcome back to SNUathletics.com. Jacob Spady once again in the backfield alongside Terrence Old, sends a man in motion. And now he's going to roll out with the bootleg. No, he's going to keep it on the draw. He's got some room. Finally, he loses his balance and falls down at the 28-yard line, a gain of 8.
I think that was a fortunate slip there from Spady. He saw a couple defenders crashing in on him, and he knows he can't afford to take a big hit or an injury this early in the ball game and this early in the season. Good slide there by Spady, just short of the 1st down.
That's our second slip up by a quarterback trying to run, as Monticello's quarterback Sears tried to get some ground as he saw a lane earlier on their first drive. Couldn't quite maintain his balance, fell to the ground. Terrence Old's yet to touch the football for the Crimson Storm.
You know, John, I think you harped on it earlier. Crimson Storm looking to establish his rushing attack as Spady goes up the middle and I believe just gets across the 1st down markers. Boll Weevils are giving up over 200 yards a game rushing. We'll see if SNU can take advantage of that with a big offensive line on the field with guys like Will House and John Clark leading the way on that left side for Olds to make a path.
A 4-yard keeper by Spady, and Spady, you can tell he's just controlling the game right now for the Crimson Storm. Leading this team, very much putting the team on his back as he's touched the ball, as he's ran with the ball, I believe, every single time they've had a running play. And this time Terrence Olds will actually get a piece of it. He's looking for some room. There's a player for Monicello who ran in without a helmet, and that will be a 15-yard penalty for the Boll Weevils.
Yeah, I understand as a competitor wanting to try to make a play on every possession, but you got to be smart on there. When your helmet comes off, you got to keep your head out of harm's way as he'll come off the field for this next play. We await the call from our official, but I believe we have the expected call, as John just reported.
That was number 3, Hakeem Gray, 6'4", 270-pound junior.
And you're right, John. If without a helmet, that's going to be 15 yards for the Crimson Storm and another 1st down.
Now, personally, Connor, I'm not a fan of that rule. I mean, yeah, they're teams and organizations trying to crack down on concussions and concussion protocol, but in that case, you just got to be smart. If your helmet comes off, just stop playing. He ran in there unnecessarily. Just not a great smart play for Gray. And evading a couple tackles, how many can one man break?
Zach Walker, a backup quarterback for the Crimson Storm, able to get a nice burst of speed and just short of the 1st. Or are they giving him the 1st down?
They're going to give it to him.
1st down for the Crimson Storm.
Now SNU motoring along in this game. And you're right, that was number 3, Zach Walker, a much smaller quarterback than Spady, but he's a much quicker quarterback than Spady as he flies into the running back role. Now back with the Olds in the backfield. And this time it's going to be Spady again trying to weasel his way through.
And Monicello kind of sniffing that play out as they just muster about 2 yards on the carry. I think Monicello's got to make some adjustments or else the Crimson Storm are going to run all over them this afternoon.
That time Spady only fortunate enough to get one. So now Monicello kind of sniffing out the run. They're kind of expecting the kind of result. Spady checking back at the sideline, trying to find something. Now back in the backfield for him. Number 24, Roger Barcheers. And he's going to keep it himself, and Spady once again can't quite get back to the, or he gets back to the line of scrimmage, and not much else.
SNU now with about 45 yards of rushing here in this first quarter alone, not even halfway through. Good start here for SNU, just being able to move the chains. See if they can do it here on a third down and long. See what Coach Lambert comes out with here for Crimson Storm.
Now a obvious passing situation. Third down and 9 for the Crimson Storm from Arkansas-Monticello's 40-yard line. This is, in my opinion, Connor, this might be no man's land. It might be 4-down territory if they can't get a first down here. Spady on the boot, trying to find somewhere. Finally finds him. He can't hang on to it.
And that would have been just past the first down marker if Zach Walker is able to hold on, but just drops the football for contact with another player, and it'll be 4th down and long for the Crimson Storm.
So Zach Walker trying to fill in a utility purpose, playing quarterback, running back, and wide receiver.
Flag on the field on the far sideline. See what the call is.
Check in with our head referee. It's going to be a illegal formation against the Storm. Just one too many people in the backfield, and that will be declined by Monicello and bring out the punting team.
I know they missed the pass completion on that, but I really like the creativity of the offense and the flow of the different formations and being able to find different open receivers and utilizing the speed and agility of Zach Walker in the slot receiver position. He was open, just couldn't make the catch.
So Anguiano easily gets this kick away. Fair catch called. And it's corralled right there at the 9-yard line. That's where Monicello will set up shop once again. So Monicello looking to answer the Crimson Storm when we come back to SNUathletics.com. Welcome back to SNUathletics.com. Monicello on their own 9-yard line, backed up in the shadow of their own goalpost. And here come the Crimson Storm looking for a little receiver out there, a little flare route.
And Cole Sears with a nice completion on the far sideline for a gain of about 5 or 6 after pushing off some defenders after he made the catch and just forced out of bounds. Second and about medium for the Boll Weevils.
About 2nd down and 5, Connor, it looks like he got a couple more yards there. It's going to be 2nd down and 2. I didn't think he got that many yards after the catch, but the officials can see what I can't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're just a little bit closer than we are. 2nd and short. Oh, big hole up the middle. Crimson Storm just a little lapse in defense there. Not kind of trying to read the play, expecting pass, but they ran short up the middle for a long gain and a 1st down.
I believe that was number 32 for the Boll Weevils, DeAntonio Brown. So Brown filling in for the injured Riley.
Another run up the gut for a gain of about 4. 2nd and 7 or 6 coming up for the Boll Weevils.
So both teams favoring the run game here in Bethany as Sears trying to rally his troops. Strong right. Shifts the tight end. Another give. This time Brown with another big opening upended at the 42-yard line of the Boll Weevils. 1st down.
I think Brown had a nice run up the left side, a big hole up there, but he's got to be careful carrying that ball. He could get stripped by anybody coming up behind him for the tackle. He's got to be careful not carry it loose.
A low snap, and Brown looking for it again. Can't quite do anything with it that time. Gets back to the line of scrimmage, but not much else.
Yeah, just a good snuff by the SNU defense front line, able to get some momentum and get a good push on the offensive line and keep him for a minimal gain.
Sears once again in the backfield. Brown to his left. And another give right here to Brown, and he's off. Maybe off to the races. Are they going to be able to catch him? They will. That was number 37 for the Crimson Storm, Josh Jordan, a 5'8", 150-pound freshman out of Mansfield, Texas, able to save the touchdown. It'll be first and goal for the Bull Weevils at the 10-yard line.
Yeah, the Crimson Storm got to figure out something to stop this rushing attack. Here we go again up the middle.
Brown makes it to about the 7-yard line, or 6, 7.5, we'll say. So a couple of big running plays by Brown.
I believe that was Jeremy Jackson into the ball game now after that long gash by Brown, giving him a breather. And Jackson coming in for the relief.
So Jackson off to Sears' left. And Sears will just keep it on the quarterback keeper this time. And they're going to push him back to about the 4-yard line. 3rd down and 4 to the touchdown.
That's going to be a tough test. See how the Crimson Storm can hold up here going forward in this ball game. If they can make a bit of a goal line stand here in the red zone and keep the momentum to a minimum here for the Boll Weevils. See what Sears calls.
So Sears pretty much given the whole playbook to work with here. And it's a give to Jackson. He's going to be stopped short at the 2-yard line.
Great stop by the Crimson Storm defense, able to get right in front, get a good push on the offensive line. Tristan Slinker with a great tackle up the middle for the Crimson Storm.
So I have a little bit of a squad change right here as both teams are able to sub. And it looks like 4th and 2 from the 2-yard line. Lining up in a power formation. The Bull Weevils will go for it. Another give to the Bull Weevils, and he stopped short. He's stuffed at the 2-yard line. Backed up to the 4. SNU will take over.
Great stop by the Crimson Storm. They snuffed out the run. They had 3 backs in the backfield for the Bull Weevils, knowing they were going to try to pound that thing up the middle. Crimson Storm able to get a stop at the 4-yard line.
Now that's huge for the Crimson Storm, and we talked about how this would be. I still believe that this will end up being an offensive shootout. A stop like that on defense for the Storm is big time.
I think you're right, John. It was just a great stop by the Crimson Storm, but they got to get onto the field before this play clock winds down with 13 seconds left now. Jacob Spady on the ground, as you can see at the bottom of your screen, 5 carries for 42 yards. Got to get the play off. He's got 5 seconds here. Clock ticking. I think we're going to take a timeout here. So Crimson Storm a little too amped from the red zone stand. We'll take a timeout on the field.
And we'll take one along with them. And SNU stops Monicello on the goal line, and SNU will set up shop at their own 4 when we come back to SNUathletics.com. Welcome back to SNUathletics.com. Now we're going to send it down to Cheyenne Reynolds with some feedback from that stop.
Hey guys, that was major. You know, the energy got big, and just, you know, you could see that was a big team effort from the team. all the way.
Absolutely, Cheyenne. It was a good stop for the Crimson Storm. Look to keep us updated here with Cheyenne Reynolds on the sideline.
Absolutely.
Spady looking downfield. He's got a man wide open, and he can't hang on to it. Oh, a huge disappointment for the Crimson Storm. Number 88, Derek Gillis.
One of the more sure-handed receivers for the Crimson Storm. Derek Gillis has been waiting to bust out and get a big catch, and he was wide open on that post pattern, just couldn't catch it. Sometimes you're just so wide open that focus just kind of drops at the last second, as you can see there.
And I think that Gillis had touchdown on his mind before catch, and that kind of leads to bad mental decisions. And here's Walker with a little bit of a shift play.
Oh,
he's off, but there's a flag in the backfield. He's pushed out at about the 30-yard line. There's a flag down in the backfield. I think this one may be coming back.
Our officials confirming around the 10-yard line to see what we got here. Maybe a holding call. His offense is walking back. It looks like it'll be an offensive holding.
And it will be a holding call against the Crimson Storm.
Just an unfortunate sequence of events for the Crimson Storm. First, the drop by Gillis around the 40-yard line with nobody near him. As he had one guy within about 15 yards, but he'd be gone to the end zone if he makes that catch. And then the holding call with the big run by Zach Walker. We'll see if SU can avoid the mistakes here on this play and pick up a first down as a shot of their own goal.
So SNU will set up for second and 10 from their own 4-yard line, right back to where they were. Now Spady looking under pressure, and he's going to be sacked. Thankfully gets out of the end zone at about the 3.5-yard line. Third down and about 11.
Not going to lie to you, John, I got a little bit worried when that defensive end was coming around behind him to take him out of the end zone, but he was able just to get out just enough, just behind the line of scrimmage, the original line of scrimmage here for SNU.
So Spady in a precarious situation as he's got to be careful of where he's at, and another obvious passing situation here on third down and 10 for the Crimson Storm. And he's going to keep it and gets away from a couple tacklers. Now Spady off. Down. A big run, about a 28-yard run to the 32-yard line.
Great pickup by Jacob Spady with patience to be able to kind of tiptoe to those holes and just wait for the play to develop and get a big gain up the right side for the Crimson Storm.
Shed off a wimpy tackler there by the Boll Weevils, and that was huge. Crimson Storm keep on trucking with about 2.5 minutes left in the first quarter.
That was the 7th rushing attempt for Jacob Spady, up to 70 yards total now for Mr. Spady on the day. And we're not even through the first quarter.
Spady with the give to Olds. Another penalty down as Olds is only able to get about 2 yards.
I think we had a bit of a legal formation as Zach Walker was trying to come in motion and had a little bit of confusion in the backfield. But Spady's pointing the other way, saying that's on the defense. We'll see what the call is. And we got offsides on the Boll Weevils.
So a free play by the Crimson Storm. And the Crimson Storm will just take the yards, or excuse me, they'll take the penalty, 5 yards as opposed to 2.
Second penalty on the day for the Boll Weevils for a total of 20 yards now. Crimson Storm now up to 71 rushing yards and 19 passing yards. And a couple of first downs here on the day. Just a great start here for SNU.
So SNU first down and 5 from the 37-yard line. Jacob Spady lining back up. 3 receivers to his left. Gives it off to Olds, and now Olds looking for some room. He maybe does. Crosses the stick. First down, SNU.
Great start here for SNU. I can't say that enough. They are absolutely dominating this first quarter, except for that long drive from the Boll Weevils and that stop on the end zone. Boll Weevils have not been able to do anything offensively, and they haven't shown us anything that they can stop at Jacob Spady.
Well, Jacob Spady's definitely having himself a game. And SNU, once again, I think the biggest thing is they're controlling that line of scrimmage. And Jacob Spady, once again, he's so big and strong that he can shed off those tackles. Now he'll keep it himself again. This time can't quite find the same success. Gets back to the original line of scrimmage.
It's a good read by that defensive end, not being fooled by the keeper up, or the handoff up the middle. Was able to stay home on the right side.
Jacob Spady, seven carries, 70 yards, 10 yards a carry for the quarterback. A great start for the quarterback. And Hiller keeping himself again. The quick pitch off to Walker.
Oh.
And Walker is going to be gobbled up in the backfield.
I think Walker may have had a little bit more green on the right side. This quarter's taking it down to about 35 seconds left. I think he was be able to bounce outside, but maybe saw a lane up the middle, but didn't get anything as we go back to the line of scrimmage. 3rd down and 10 coming up for the Crimson Storm.
So we got about half a second between the play clock and the game clock. See if SNU will like to get one more playoff before the end of the first quarter. 3rd down and 10 from SNU's 43-yard line. And this will be the last play of the first period. It's going to be a pass by Spady, dropping back, looking, can't finds of Walker, gets to about midfield.
Ooh, that's a big decision here with, I believe, be 4th down and 3 around the 50-yard line. Your offense is moving. It's a tough decision. You may be liable to go for it here.
So the play goes out of bounds, and the clock starts again. That'll be the end of the first quarter. SNU controlling the first quarter, only up by a touchdown, but they're moving along. They're driving. 4th down and 4 when we come back to SNUathletics.com. Welcome back to SNUathletics.com, and the offense is being set out on the 50-yard line for the Crimson Storm. 4th down and 4 for SNU. So SNU in the middle of the field will elect to go for it on 4th down to start off the second quarter. Trying to draw the defense off sides. Spady checking back with the sideline.
Trying to get the play call. Looks like
and
they may
another timeout taken by SNU. That's their second of the half. So SNU trying to draw the Boll Weevils offside, and the Boll Weevils aren't buying.
Yeah, just a kind of a gutsy call there. Well, nothing too risky there from Coach Lambert, trying to get him to go for a hard count, but Boll Weevils able to stay disciplined and not budge on the hard count from Jacob Spady.
Just want to give a shout out to the SNU students section being led by the Storm Chasers. A little bit sparsely populated when we started here, but they have quickly filed in, and that's because they were at SNU's cross-country meet early this morning. Drove all the way out to Shawnee to go support them.
Absolutely. It's a good weekend for SNU sports, trying to continue to build that program. They have a very young team, a lot of freshmen and sophomores. Look forward to see how they progress this season as the years go by. Good looking out for the Crimson Storm. It looks like we got the punting team on now for Crimson Storm. A good, safe, conservative play call from Coach Lambert.
So Carlos Anguiano set up for a punt. Almost let a man through for the Boll Weevils. And he's just going to let it bounce, and a good one. How far will it bounce? It'll bounce all the way down to about the 5-yard line of the Boll Weevils. And you know that will get the SNU Crimson Storm pumped up.
Great kick there by Anguiano, even with the man coming free, nearly able to block it, but got some good spin and a fortunate bounce of about almost 20 yards for the Crimson Storm.
Now we remember last year Anguiano, not the best punter. He's quickly become very good. And SNU will come back out on defense on the Monicello 5-yard line when we come back to SNUathletics.com. Welcome back to SNUathletics.com. Crimson Storm, off a great punt by Carlos Anguiano, back up the Boll Weevils to their own 6-yard line, it seems.
And just a great punt from Anguiano, able to set up the Boll Weevils around the 5-yard line. See if Cole Sears can get something going here.
There's a quick strike from Sears. It's gobbled up. Not much doing for the Boll Weevils. SNU read that play solidly from the get-go. No gain.
And just a great start for SNU. Here on the defensive side, able to keep him for about a gain of 1 or 2 on the play. Handoff up the middle.
A give this time. This is swallowed up once again. Maybe a gain of 1, if that.
And frustration mounting up for the Boll Weevils offensive line, just throwing their hands in the air, shaking their head, saying they can't believe it. They're doing everything they can, but SNU is just giving them more.
And now the SNU sideline, chanting that Seven Nation Army, trying to get their defense pumped up.
Crimson Storm in a good opportunity here to get the ball back early. With a 3rd down and long coming up for the Boll Weevils.
Obvious passing situation here for Sears. He's got 2 to his left and a penalties coming down. It's a timeout for Monicello.
Yeah, close call there. I think the play clock was winding down for the Boll Weevils and had to just burn, I believe, the first timeout of the half with 13:26 left in the first half.
Well, we'll take a step aside along with the timeout. When we come back to SNU Athletics, we'll have 3rd down and 10 for the Boll Weevils. Welcome back to SNUathletics.com. Crimson Storm got the Boll Weevils pinned back. We're right in the shadow of their own goalpost. 3rd down and 10 from the 6.
Miles Roll coming up the edge, trying to find a sack.
Can't quite get to him. And it sails way too high. Triple covered by the Crimson Storm. And now SNU getting ready for another punt, and most likely in very good field position.
I think you're right, because the Boll Weevils have kind of shanked a couple of their punts, haven't gone as far as they would like to, bobbled some. The balls have barely gotten to the punter. Just been some fortunate catches there to be able to get those out of there.
A couple of first quarter stats for you. Brown for Monicello leading the way with 71 yards rushing. On the other side, Jacob Spady not far behind, 69 yards for the quarterback for the Crimson Storm. Spady also 3 for 5, 26 yards. There's the punt for the Crimson Storm. Jonathan Martin's just going to let it bounce, and it will stay on Monticello's side of the field.
Good night.
As the Crimson Storm bring out the offense on the Monticello 48-yard line. Also going down in that first quarter, SNU dominating the first downs category with 7 as opposed to Monticello's 3. 12 rushes for 77 yards. Yet Monicello 13 for 89 yards. 26 passing yards for the Crimson Storm. Only 8 for Monicello as they just couldn't quite find their open receivers. And finally, 103 yards for the Crimson Storm on offense. Only 97 for Monicello. So on paper, it's apart from first downs, it's neck and neck.
Absolutely, it's been a stellar battle between both teams. And we'll just see if that continues here as the rest of this first half continues to go underway with just over 13 minutes left. Jacob Spady seemed to be firing on all cylinders. Got a little bit of juice in him this week here in Pinkout.
So Monticello's defense is out there awaiting the return of the Crimson Storm offense.
And it's just been an interesting battle here today. The Crimson Storm offensive line I've been very impressed with, able to get a lot of protection and be able to produce and move those piles here for the Crimson Storm as guys like Terrence Old, Zach Walker, and Jacob Spade have been able to really make some waves here, put a lot of pressure here on this defense.
So here come the Crimson Storm.
I really like this matchup here on the left side.
And a little give to Walker. It breaks off a tackle. He's off to the races.
Good night. This kid is unbelievable. We got a flag on the far sideline.
I think this may be a free play for the Crimson Storm as I think we saw a Monicello guy jump. I think that was a free play for the Crimson Storm. Maybe not.
We'll see what the call is here from our head official out at the 41. And I believe that will be against the Crimson Storm as our referee walking back. Oh, false start of all things. Good night.
False start against the Crimson Storm will bring back Walker's impressive run. Walker broke off 4 tackles at least in that scamper.
Just an unfortunate series. Anytime Zach Walker's able to get out into some open space and make some plays happen, we got a holding penalty. We got to come back and try to get back the yards that he gained off the holding penalty.
Now, Connor, these officials could probably call a holding call every single time, but I mean, it just comes down to how much is too much and how much to get away with. And apparently that time it was like, nope, we're not going to let you get away with that one. So the Crimson Storm will back up. First down to 15, now on their own side of the 50, 47-yard. Another give to
nice
Walker,
play.
almost the same exact play. That time, Monicello reads it out. They only gain about 2 yards.
I think if he's able to cut up on the outside, he keeps trying to go back inside off that left side off the line. He's got all kinds of green and a lot of space. Probably get 5 or 6 more yards if he's able to cut up on the outside. But he's able to get positive yards and just inch closer back to that line of scrimmage.
Spady checking up with his sideline, waiting for the call. 2 receivers to his left. Running back to his right. Sends Walker in motion. This time he's going to keep it himself on the option keeper. Gets back to midfield in the original line of scrimmage.
And 3rd down and long again for the Crimson Storm. We'll see if Jacob Spady has another first down in him as Crimson Storm on this day have 7 first downs from that first quarter alone. We're able to convert on 3rd downs, 1 of 3 as well. See if they can get the conversion here and put some more points up on the board if this drive continues.
So Spady, 3rd down and 12.
I like this matchup here at the bottom of the screen with Reese Carlson one-on-one. We'll see if Spady looks to him.
And now the Monticello Bullwheels is bringing heat. Spady, will he get away with it?
Ooh.
Almost picked off by the Bullweevils.
Gutsy throw there by Jacob Spady, but able to hang in the pocket and release the ball and not take a sack for a loss of yards, but the Crimson Storm will punt away here at the 50.
Number 20, Jordan Stargell, 6'3", 205 senior from Pine Bluff, Arkansas. Almost came away with that one as he reached up there. Couldn't quite get on it. Now Crimson Storm will be forced to punt. Bad snap for the Crimson Storm punt team. Tries to get it away. Carlos Anguiano. It's fielded by number 1 of the Boll Weevils.
We got a flag coming in from the far sideline as some extracurricular activities going along on the field. And another flag coming in.
So a couple of flags fly in as after a bad snap by the Crimson Storm. Carlos Anguiano just tries to get rid of it. Does a good job and as best he can as it dribbles down. And Stacy Warren decided to go ahead and get it. And there's going to be a dead ball foul. Personal foul, late hit against the Boll Weevils, so that will do a little bit to make up for the bad punt by the Crimson Storm.
Absolutely, just after the bobble and then the left foot kick by Anguiano, I think that was one of the more athletic plays I've seen from Anguiano. It was really something to be able to be that creative. We'll see if the Crimson Storm are able to take a stand here on defense again and get a stop and try to seize the momentum here after the bonehead play by Monicello Boll Weevils off the late hit after their own return.
So here comes the Boll Weevils setting back up on offense, and a give from the Boll Weevils, and he's off. He's got some green in front of him. He's going to be brought down at about the 36-yard line. Big run by the Boll Weevils.
Look at those. Jeremy Jackson, the backup, coming in to relieve of Imani Riley on that carry. He's got to be very careful of the way he carries that ball. And SNU ready to come and pop the ball loose if he's not careful.
He's coming at it again. This time he's going to be driven back into the backfield.
Miles Roll and company ready to take care of business there and get the stop there and drop him for a loss on that play, along with Floyd Chisholm for the Crimson Storm. Sears directing traffic here in the backfield. Trying to find something here. Haven't had a lot of throwing opportunities. Just not sure if he's yet to have a completion.
Strong set another quick throw out there to the side. And SNU able to bring that one down, but not before he gains about 4 to 5 yards on a quick strike. So the Crimson Storm will try to dig in for a 3rd down and about 6.
Second completion of the ball game for Cole Sears. Going for a gain of about 5, 3rd down. And pretty long for the Boll Weevils from about the 37-yard line. See if they can, about the 33-yard line, see if they can get something here on this 3rd down.
And this is going to be a free play for the Boll Weevils. This is going to be an offsides call on the Crimson Storm, but nevertheless, they're going to most likely decline this play after a completion by the Boll Weevil receiver brings it back to the 21-yard line, just outside the red zone. Hard count got the Storm right there.
Yeah, I think he was coming up on an edge blitz and just kind of mistimed the count. This call is offsides on Crimson Storm. He kind of slipped right about the line of scrimmage and sent him just past the ball. 1st down for the Boll Weevils.
So Sears steps back up. Jackson switches sides. Trying to spread out 4 receivers. Obvious passing. Can't quite find anybody open. Looks it out. And almost had a great catch, but flag is thrown. Looks like there's going to be a pass interference against the Crimson Storm, and I'm not so sure I agree with that one.
Yeah, I think they caught him with his hands on the receiver for Boll Weevils. Dorian Harris kind of had his hands on the receiver as the ball was coming towards him.
So another big penalty for the Boll Weevils. And that will, since it was outside of the 20-yard line, no half distance to the goal call, it is going to be half distance to the goal.
And 1st down and goal for the Boll Weevils. See if Sears can put the ball in the end zone.
And now a pass. Got him wide
great.
open. He's got him. Touchdown.
That was
Monicello.
That was a great in and out route there by the Boll Weevils. Lead number 21 for the Boll Weevils himself was able to just find a way and shake the defender loose and put some points up on the board and look to tie this ball game here with the extra point.
And you're right. I mean, that was a great sell on the play action and a great in-and-out route run by the Boll Weevils.
And Jalen Tolliver with just a great kind of shake and bake route to shake loose the defender and make that nice catch for this easy score after unfortunate penalties for the Crimson Storm, just kind of shooting themselves in the foot on 3rd and long as the kick is up and good for the Boll Weevils to tie up this ball game.
So we're now tied at 7 as a quarter belonged to the Crimson Storm and now a quarter seemingly belongs to the Boll Weevils. When we come back to SNUathletics.com, SNU will try to answer. Welcome back to SNUathletics.com. We're going to send it back down to Cheyenne Reynolds. Cheyenne, what'd you think about that set of plays?
Hey guys, it's just really a little upsetting. That touchdown was not earned. I think they kind of gave it to them through these penalties. It's just a balance of discipline and just knowing, refs are going to call those holding penalties, certain things that we cannot be doing, we're getting called for. So hopefully they'll shake it off and get the next one.
Thank you, Cheyenne, and I'm going to have to agree with you 100%. Those penalties for SNU definitely hurt them in every way possible as SNU's going to field this at about their own 5-yard line. And he's got a crease, and he's running
good
all the way down to the 44-yard line. That was number 82 for the Crimson Storm.
Matthew Sarate with a surefire return up the middle, up to the right side, to the 46, 45-yard line for the Crimson Storm. Great start for this possession for SNU.
Sarate, 5'7", 188 freshman out of Cache, Oklahoma. That was huge for the Crimson Storm as try to spark back up this offense, and man, that little guy can move.
Yeah, just a couple unfortunate series of drives, just penalties mounting up for the Crimson Storm, whether it's either drop passes or holding penalties that have just really negated a lot of big plays by this firepower offense as Spady hands off the left side to Olds. He's got a big hole up the left side for the first down.
So Terrence Olds bumbling all the way down to just on the positive side of the 45-yard line. So to the 44-yard line is where they will mark him.
I think you got to feed the beast here. Terrence Olds only had a couple of carries, 2 carries in that first quarter. I believe he's now up to 3 or 4 on this afternoon. He's got to be able to get some more touches and keep pounding this defensive line of the Boll Weevils.
So another give to Olds and a big block right there by Walker. He can do it all. He can run, he can pass, and now he can block.
And just a big run there by Terrence Olds. Back-to-back first down carries for Terrence Olds.
So now the Crimson Storm send it back up. Spady's got Walker and Olds on both sides of him.
A lot of ways to beat you in that backfield. Spady sends Smith in motion.
So this time Spady's going to run that misdirection play to Walker, and Walker's off and running. Walker tried to gather himself, and now SNU enters the red zone again.
This kid is unbelievable, able to just kind of shake and bake these defenders of the Boll Weevils, and we got a flag on the play. Olds, as you can see, up to 4 carries for 28 yards, and Zach Walker with a couple of carries and some first downs of his own.
So a penalty against the Boll Weevils is declined by the Crimson Storm, and now SNU in great field position. 19-yard line heading in.
Jacob Spady setting up shop with back-to-back first downs for the Crimson Storm, all on the ground. Look to see them continue this rushing attack.
This time Spady will keep it himself, and he's running himself again all the way down to the 17-yard line. Or excuse me, not the 17, the 12-yard line. Wrong side of the 15.
Jacob Spady now up to 9 carries, 71 yards, I believe. After that carry, he's up to about 80 and a touchdown. Look to see who who's going to get the ball out of this backfield between either Olds, Walker, or Spady, because they're all just burning this Boll Weevils defense.
Now Walker's lined up in the slot position. So we'll see if perhaps Spady will be looking for him. And the give to Olds. And now Olds is in a league of his own. He's tries to run somebody over, doesn't quite get there, all the way down to the 7-yard line. First down and goal for the Crimson Storm.
SNU now to 125 rushing yards, and we're hardly halfway through this second quarter. This is some stellar offensive performance here. Just ground and pound this defense.
We got a flag down on the play. And it's a holding call against the Crimson Storm, so they'll move backwards. And once again, those penalties hurting the Crimson Storm in every kind of way. So instead of first down and goal from the 7, it's second down and 12 from the 22-yard line.
You never want to see that. They have a tendency to call those drive killers when the offense is moving, and then one penalty can kind of negate it here. Speaking of penalties, Arkansas-Monticello and SNU tied with 3 penalties apiece. Got to be able to chop that down here as the handoff, a fake handoff from Spady trying to go up the middle, but it's snuffed out by the Boll Weevils for no gain.
Spady looking for the hole, couldn't quite find it, and he's brought down for a loss of 1. Third down and 13 from the 23-yard line, so I would imagine that Spady be looking to the air on this one.
Spady 3 of 6 on the day for 26 yards. Longest pass of completion has been about 13 yards, so that'd be right in the ballpark for that first down if he's able to complete it here. Smith in motion again to the right. Spady going to call a timeout here on 3rd and long.
And that will eliminate all of SNU's timeouts in this first half with 6:01 left. When we come back, we'll see SNU 3rd down 13 from the 23-yard line when we come back to SNUathletics.com. Welcome back to SNUathletics.com. A big situation for the Crimson Storm. 6:01 left in this first half. Tied up at 7 between the Crimson Storm and the Boll Weevils of Arkansas-Monticello. Spady in the backfield. Lines up 3 receivers to his right. And Monticello's bringing heat. He's going to try and run it. And he can't quite get past the defender. It was number 42 for the Boll Weevils, DeMorris Bedford.
Yeah, Jacob Spady had a lot of green up the left side and up the middle. Defender from behind just caught him before he could break loose.
So the stop on defense will bring up I believe we're looking at a 41-yard field goal for Carlos Anguiano trying to take the lead. It is up. And it is good. Carlos Anguiano good from 41. And SNU will retake the lead 10-7.
Great kick there by Anguiano. Bit of a long kick for Anguiano, but he was able to muster that. He probably could have made that from 40. Stellar kick, stellar possession for the Crimson Storm. Just that lone holding penalty really negated what could have been a touchdown, but you'll take points when you can get them here.
So let's take a small break, and when we come back, SNU will kick off with 5:17 left in the half when we come back to SNUathletics.com. Welcome back to SNUathletics.com. Anguiano, after taking the lead for the Crimson Storm, 10-7 now for the Crimson Storm. And we'll kick off to Monicello with 5:17 as they look to do their best to enter halftime with that lead. And a big kick from Anguiano all the way down to about the 4-yard line. It's taken out. And it looks like that was Zach Lloyd.
Yeah, great tackle there. Lloyd staying in his lane off the left side and able to negate a possible big return. Stopped him just short of the 30.
So Lloyd will take a breather before heading back out on defense. And the Monticello Boll Weevils will set up shop at their own 28-yard line. Sears, receivers off to his sides, and he'll call a timeout. And now he'll call a timeout for the Monticello Boll Weevils, and now it looks like there's a little bit of some confusion. And off to our left, the Crimson Storm student section throw up the pink powder.
It is pink out here in Bethany, Oklahoma. Many students told to come dress in pink and be prepared to get hit with a lot of pink powder paint. And I got to say, they're weird and they love it.
Man, I hope we can get that back on camera. I mean, I hope like somebody was videotaping that. We can put that. We might as well just put that on our highlights along with the rest of today.
It's been an interesting day here in Bethany, Oklahoma. As the Crimson Storm being able to just come out firing from the get-go and take advantage of some mistakes from Arkansas-Monticello. They kind of sputtered a little bit. Some holding penalties have kind of held them back here this first half. We'll look to see for them to clean that up in the second half and try to grind out a victory here, up 10-7, and try to take the lead going into halftime before that as well.
So the Boll Weevils set back up after the timeout. First down and 10 from their own 28. Sears with 2 running backs to his sides. There's the give, and it's immediately at the line of scrimmage. There's number 18 for the Crimson Storm.
Big bad freshman Noah Wells with a nice stop. Freshman linebacker and defensive back for the Crimson Storm. Coming out of Oklahoma City as Wells with just a big hit and a loss of yards for the Weevils.
Wells filled the gap and read that one right from the get-go. Can we please put that one on our highlight reel?
Why not? And that was a big stop by the freshman Wells. Been very impressive this season.
Another
Sears. Oh, a near interception by Derek Carmouche. And the Boll Weevils looking for pass interference, not going to get it. As Carmouche came there right as the ball came to the glove of the Boll Weevils receiver. Third down and long coming up.
And you're right, Connor. I mean, Monticello looking for some flags, some yellow flags flying, but you know what? I mean, that looks to be on a play on the ball, and that looked to be fine by me. And SNU in great position, 3rd down and 12 for the Boll Weevils, and I would be thinking that the Boll Weevils maybe be looking for another big pass play. And it is getting crazy in Bethany, and here it goes, another pass looking, and a one-handed grab is going to be called out of bounds.
Yeah, great catch, just out of bounds, and the Boll Weevils now move to 1 of 6 on 3rd downs on this afternoon, 4th down and long. Now,
the refs are going to call that out of bounds, but you got to admit that catch, I'm impressed by that catch.
That was a nice grab. Unfortunately, he was just a tad out of bounds, and the whole SNU sideline saw it, 4th down and long. Crimson Storm get the ball back, and with a chance to score with Jonathan Martin. Looking for a big return here.
Martin's been itching at the bit to try and get a return off. And that looked to be a little bit of a tip. Martin will grab it and just hop out of bounds. And that will set up the Crimson Storm right at the 39 to 40 yard line of their own side of the field, and that could have been a bigger kick. It looks like a couple of Crimson Storm guys got a bit of a finger on there.
Yeah, just a little bit, a lot of pressure there coming up the middle for the Crimson Storm, and just were able to just get some good pressure and just make the Boll Weevils very frustrated and weary as this game goes on. You see a lot of players throwing up their arms, shouting at the officials and the other players of SNU, just not having the day they expected here in Bethany, Oklahoma.
So the Crimson Storm will set up once again at their own 40-yard line. They give it off to Walker, trying to look for a block, and he's going to be wrestled down on the backfield. Big loss for the Crimson Storm.
Yeah, Walker trying to read out to the right side. And stoppage of play on the field. I believe that is Walker down on the far sideline. Can't really tell with the lineman, but it looks like they'll be grabbing his right knee. So he was brought down to the floor.
That's never good whenever they just immediately go for that knee. Walker over there right at the 37-yard line for the Crimson Storm.
Yeah, very dynamic player for this offense, been able to make some plays, but man, just the little things that can trip you up with, just a routine tackle being brought down, anything could happen.
Can't quite see what's going on. It looks like talking to him, and it looks like he's going to be helped up. See if he can walk off the field under his own power. And he has got a little bit of a limp there. Number 1 for the Boll Weevils over there. That was number Stacy Warren giving his condolences and telling him a great job. And very gingerly going to walk off the field.
And Zach Walker, as you can see at the bottom of your screen, 5 carries for 27 yards on the day. Very dynamic player. He's listed a quarterback, but has been utilized very heavily this season at running back and slot receiver. Trying to just keep some defenses on their toes. Unfortunately, just gets kind of tripped up there as the play was coming to an end. Nevertheless, we'll move on here with Spady in the backfield with Olds to his left. Hicks out, split out wide right, and Carlson in the tight end spot.
So we'll have Cheyenne Reynolds give us an update on him here in a little later in the game. And now Spady's going to keep it by himself, and he gets off to a big run by himself, and he gets all of those yards back and a little bit more. First down for the Crimson Storm.
Fantastic play fake. Jacob Spady does a great job at that play fake on that read option. He's able to sell it and read the defensive end very, very cleanly and get some great yards, as you just saw here, picking up 12.
So we're under 4 minutes, approaching 3.5 in this first half in here in Bethany. And now Spady once again trips up again.
I believe just runs into Carlson off the block there. I think he was thinking touchdown when he came out of that hole and had a lot of space in front of him. Just runs into Carlson, was able to pick up 5 yards.
So what could have been big ends up being a reasonable 5 for Jacob Spady.
This is unbelievable, folks. He's up to 92 yards on 13 carries in the first half alone. Spady having himself a day and really taking advantage of the lapse in defense here for Monicello.
Well, the Crimson Storm unable to stop the clock anymore except on a spike because they have exhausted all of their timeouts in this first half. Under 3 minutes now. And now a miscommunication on the handoff. Spady will keep it and try to make something out of nothing and will lose a yard. A little bit of miscommunication back there in the backfield.
I think Olds was looking for the ball there, but just, as you said, miscommunication on the crossing. On the crossing there of who was blocking, who's get the ball. So it'll be third down and about six or seven for the Crimson Storm when we come back here after the timeout. Don't go anywhere.
Okay, I can't really
Welcome back to SNUathletics.com. We're going to go down to Cheyenne Reynolds. Cheyenne, do you have an update for us on Zach Walker?
He's moving a little slow right now. I'm seeing him maybe grab his knee a little bit, and I think that's the focus that the trainers are looking at. Hopefully, it's just very little, and we can see him back out. And as of right now, he's just sitting, getting care.
All right, thank you, Cheyenne.
You're welcome.
Spady on another keeper. This time going to be wrapped up in the backfield. And this time it'll not much. 4th down at the 45-yard line. And I don't know, Connor, do you think that SNU will be looking to go for it or kick it?
I think Coach Lambert's going to look to punt here. He's got the lead with just over 2 minutes left in the first half. I think you stay conservative and punt the ball away.
And it looks like that's exactly what he will do. As Carlos Anguiano will trot out onto the football field. They better get this kickoff pretty quick as the play clock is at 10.
I think they may take the penalty here with it ticking down and just trying to give Monicello as little time as possible to get their playoff.
And no, they will not. They will go ahead and punt it. And a big boomer up in the sky. Fair catch given. And oh, my Lord.
Wow.
Are you kidding me? That punt found the ground and decided to bounce sideways. All the way off to the 3-yard line of Monicello. Carlos Anguiano, the unsung hero.
He knows something we don't about punting. It seems pretty simple to us, but it must be a science or something for Anguiano to be able to get that ball to go sideways 20 yards out of bounds without going into the end zone. That was incredible.
I was getting pretty concerned. It was going at a reasonable speed and heading in that direction. You're thinking, oh, it's going out of bounds, but wow, you are joking me. That goes straight out of bounds sideways, and now Sears in his own end zone looking for the receiver, can't quite get there.
And that ball is about 3 or 4 yards in front of the guy he was looking for.
His intended receiver is number 88, C.G. Parham.
Freshman out of Camden, Arkansas, 6'1", 165. Freshman with stellar hands, as we saw, with a nice catch, one-handed catch out of bounds. But we'll see if he can able to make something happen here against this Storm defense. Storm looking for a possible safety, put some more points up on the board before halftime.
2nd down and 3 from for the Monticello Boll Weevils. Crimson Storm defense trying to make something happen right down here. Looking once again. Parham is able to come up with a ball. This time catches it. And he'll bring it up to the 12-yard line, just short of that 1st down marker.
Carlos Anguiano now 4 punts, 3 of them inside the 20. What a weapon Anguiano has been, putting the Boll Weevils in the shadow of their own goal time after time again this day.
And there's the give for the Boll Weevils, and he's gobbled up.
Good night.
And it looks like there's going to be no gain. 4th down and 1 from the 18-yard line for the Boll Weevils as we are under a minute.
Man, just a stable of Crimson Storm defenders coming up there to stop the runner, keep him for no gain on the play. We'll see what the Boll Weevils elect to go with here on 4th and short.
Now, if I'm the Boll Weevils, I'm thinking drain as much clock as possible, as there seems to be about a 15-second difference between the play clock and the game clock. I may be thinking drain it as much, take a timeout, and then punt it away.
They better hope they can handle this punt. They've had some issues here on this day. We'll see what happens here on this snap.
And I think SNU bringing the heat, and they do. Don't quite get there. It's punted out of bounds, and I don't know where where they will mark him.
I think they'll go up to where the ball sails out of bounds in the air. That'll be about the 35-yard line.
35-yard line with about 13 seconds to go.
So what do you do here, John? If you're Coach Lambert, do you try to go for it? I think you got to take a shot towards the end zone. You got the lead with 13.9 seconds left in the half. Why not take a shot?
With 13 seconds here, you got 2 plays. You got 2 plays with about 13 seconds. So if I'm Coach Lambert, I'm thinking a corner route, try to get it out of bounds at ASAP, and then if you're able to, get Carlos Anguiano on the field and take a touchdown lead.
I mean, you've got Reese Carlson at the bottom of the screen in single coverage. with 2 deep for the Bull Wheels. See what they got here.
So here's the passing attempt from Spady. He's going deep. And it's a catch and a touchdown! Crimson Storm!
What a shot, what a throw, what a catch. Crimson Storm, are you kidding me?
Sailing into the end zone, number 6.
Trevor Smith, what a catch.
5'7" senior, 175 pounds out of Pleasant Hill, California, making the big catch, coming back to it with a defender all over him. Touchdown, Crimson Storm, with 6 seconds to go.
I mean, that goes both ways. Trevor Smith with a great focus to catch the ball in the end zone. Great throw by Spady, but the Bull Wheel defender not turning his head around when he saw Trevor Smith reaching for the ball. No, I don't know how you don't make that play. Anguiano's kick.
His kick is up and good, and SNU up 10 with 6 seconds to go here in the first half, and this place is electric.
And just a great sequence of events for the Crimson Storm throughout really this ball game, with being able to click, especially on special teams, has been key for the Crimson Storm, whether it's kickoff returns and being able to limit them before the 20, or Carlos Anguiano doing a stellar job getting punts inside the 20. 3 out of his 4 punts have been inside the 20, 2 of them inside the 5. What more could you ask for from your special teams unit, being able to limit the Bull Wheels from any possible return?
So the fade route from Spady goes 35 yards in just one play for the Crimson Storm touchdown. And if I'm the Crimson Storm, I'm thinking squib right here.
Who knows? They may even go for an onside kick. Everything's going well for
Everything's going well. You know what? Just do whatever you want, Carlos Anguiano.
I mean, this has just been a stellar day. The rushing attack, the passing attack, the defensive effort and energy has been there, only giving up 7 points in this first half. What more could you ask? All 3 phases of the game clicking for the Crimson Storm. Bolts up here in Bethany.
And here comes Carlos Anguiano, and he's going to launch it high. At about the 15, it's fielded. And it's brought down right on the Bethany Broncos logo there at the 25-yard line. And it'll be spotted out at the 26, and we have a player down for the Crimson Storm.
Ooh.
Seems to be number 22 for SNU, Justin Breitling, the defensive end, 6 foot, 225 sophomore out of good old Amarillo, Texas, my neck of the woods.
And we got a flag down on the play as well. Coach Lambert very hot on the sidelines around the 40. Not sure what we got going here.
So our officials having a bit of a talk of what will happen, what's going on. We'll check in with our head official here. And after the place unsportsmanlike conduct on Monicello will set them back 15 more yards. So they'll be at about their 10-yard line, their 11-yard line. And if I'm Monicello, I'm thinking getting out of the half right now.
I think you're right, John. Nothing going the way for the Bull Wheels. And it's just been an unfortunate series of events here as Crimson Storm been able to take advantage of the penalties that put in place and taken by the Bull Weevils. And also just either the bad punts coming out of bounds or just miscommunications there on offense. And Crimson Storm came out to play.
I believe you're right, as Breitling is chartered over to the John Deere Gator over there for a little more in-depth look. As there's the knee, and there's the half, and SNU comes into their home field and takes it to Arkansas-Monticello in the first 30 minutes of play here. It's been all Crimson Storm except for that one drive where the penalties really shot SNU in the foot, and now they're ahead 17-7.
You know, I think you're right there, John, as Coach Lambert roused the troops there, and he's able to really inspire his guys to to play every down like it's their last. They come out firing. They have a sense of energy that each play truly matters, and they come out firing. I really love what I've seen in this first half from the Crimson Storm, offense, defense, and special teams. And we look forward to seeing how they do in the second half, up 17-7.
Oh, I agree with you, Connor. And also, you got to be thinking that Monicello will be looking to answer. They have won 2 games, and they didn't win those games for nothing. They came out and played in the second half, especially against. Even against in the first game they lost Northwestern. It was a 56-59 game. So you got to imagine that they came out to play in the second half. So that will definitely factor in as we head into halftime here. And I believe we're awaiting an interview with Coach Lambert with Cheyenne Reynolds.
I think you're right. As Cheyenne Reynolds makes her way to Coach Lambert, we'll keep it right here as she tracks him down and see how Coach Lambert discusses his team's success here in this first half.
All right, we're going to take it right down to Cheyenne. Cheyenne with Coach Lambert.
Hey, guys. So I'm out here with Coach Lambert. So, Coach, tell us about this impressive first half. From week to week, we have been able to see this team grow and develop on this field. And so what is it that we can come back for the second half and just see, work maybe getting less penalties, or what is it that they can make the adjustments?
Hey, listen, we've played some really good first halves, really the last 3 weeks. And so, we just have to go in and come out, and we've got to play the third quarter. I don't know. There's no magic formula. I got no pixie dust to throw on them at halftime. So we just have to come out and continue to trust ourselves and trust the process and just play hard and play with a lot of emotion.
Absolutely. And so with performances from, number 12 and Zach Walker, they have done a really great first half. So what is it? I bet you must be proud to see them kind of come out. And
yeah, well, it really is about making plays, and so we just haven't had a lot of big plays like that. And Zach, you mentioned, has been a freshman. He was a quarterback. He played quarterback for 4 or 5 weeks, and all of our two-a-days, and then all of a sudden, he's playing he's playing running back, and so that's good. So he's a fantastic player. Great catch by Trevor too.
Absolutely, yeah. Jacob Spady definitely working.
Yeah, fantastic player.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Good luck in the second half. Thanks, guys. And so what I've noticed so far, Zach Walker will be out. He's already unsuited, and he's going to head into the locker room with a knee injury. It's looking like they have already iced him up. So,
all right, thank you, Cheyenne, very much. An exciting first half here in Bethany, Oklahoma. Storm up 17-7. We'll be right back here at SNUathletics.com. Break down the first half. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back to SNUathletics.com. And we've had a very entertaining first half as the Storm leads 17-7 after 30 minutes. Connor, what stood out to you in the first half?
Oh, man, 2 words really come to mind. Jacob Spady. My goodness, he's been a fantastic player this season. Has really come out this ballgame, really showing off his offensive firepower with his arm, 4-7 passing with a touchdown and 61 yards throwing. Only been sacked twice, and it was for a minimal loss as well. Also being able to get on the ground with his legs with 16 carries for nearly 100 yards at 97 and a touchdown. So Jacob Spady really responsible for a lot of the things going well with the Crimson Storm and just been able to pound this Arkansas-Monticello defense.
You're right. Jacob Spady really coming out to play. Responsible for 2 touchdowns on the day, one at the very beginning of the game and one at the end of the first half with a long fade route to Trevor for the touchdown at the end of the stands out to me is the rushing yards for the Crimson Storm. 138 on 25 carries. Monicello 19, 109 yards. And passing yards. SNU stands out with 61 over 40. So, I mean, there's not a whole lot of offensive production like we're used to at like the higher collegiate level. But at this level and the way that the history that we've seen here at SNU, this is miles and miles of improvement for them.
I think you're right, John. That offensive strategy that Coach Lambert has implemented this year with his crew of coordinators coming in this year have really stepped up over these last couple weeks. We seen them do battle with Southern Arkansas last week. They were down at one point 30-20 and were going for an onside kick, and Southern Ark was able to just run it back for a touchdown. But they're able to put points up on the board. This team can score. Just a matter of limiting the penalties and shooting themselves in the foot that really negate a lot of the big plays as we saw earlier today with either long catches or runs from Zach Walker or Terrence Olds that really stifled the momentum here in the first half.
Monticello's lone touchdown of the day came on a drive that was mostly SNU penalty yards. And just a quick scoring recap for you. Jacob Spady on an 18-yard run at the beginning of the game. 31 seconds, right there at 12:21. Just under 3 minutes in the game. 18 yards. Then we came back at 9:03 in the second half as Monicello answered with a Cole Sears pass to Jalen Tolliver on that dominated penalty drive, and finally with 7 seconds left to go in the first half. 7 seconds left to go in the second half. Trevor Smith, 35-yard pass from Jacob Spady right there in the fade. And I want to give a big shout-out to the unsung hero of the Crimson Storm, Carlos Anguiano, hitting a 41-yard field goal. And also, 3 of his 4 punts going inside the 20, and the one that didn't was off a bad punt, and he was able, or a bad snap, and he was able to get that a decent amount of yards, just kind of like fading away. It was like a soccer kick. That was impressive.
Yeah, it was really, really impressive, and that was the only scoring drive I believe that Monticello had as they were around the 50, and they just had about 30 yards coming from pass interference calls and holding calls from the Crimson Storm. So look to limit those penalties as SNU had 4 for 34 yards, and Arkansas-Monticello had 4 for nearly 50 yards in the first half. So look to see if both teams can clean it up a bit.
Cole Sears going 6 for 12, 50%, 40 yards, 1 touchdown. Jacob Spady 4 for 7, 61 yards and 1 touchdown. It's just Jacob Spady seems to have legs. That's the big difference between these two quarterbacks. And SNU's defense, for the most part, has really come out to play today.
Absolutely, John. We look forward to seeing more of that in the second half and a lot more continued intensity for the Storm defense to continue to get stops when it matters.
You're right, and we will take a step aside, and when we come back, we'll get ready to start the second half here at SNUathletics.com.